Yeah, it is me, the villain, and I like to stomp on puppies. Do you love to hate me?
No, you're kind of forced.
What? But I'm the villain. You should love to hate me.
No, I just kind of hate you. But I could show you how to write a villain that readers love to hate.
Okay, show me your villainous ways.
Hey guys, Nour here, and here's how to write a villain that readers love to hate. But first, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon and leave a like. Let's get started. To write a villain that readers love to hate, start by giving your villain a backstory. What was their childhood like? Who hurt them? Did they go through a traumatic experience? Were they raised by crazy people? Or were they born just a little unbalanced? This is actually a real psychological thing we could study about criminals in real life. It's called nature versus nurture. From what I've deducted from reading a lot about serial killers and crime lords, they are created the way they are rather than just born messed up. They might have mommy or daddy issues, history of being abused, or even suffer from their own environments. For example, gang members might turn out differently if they grew up in safer and more financially stable environments with two parents and a supportive community. But their harsh environments force them to steal, fight, and get into drugs. So always consider your villain's background. This is of course just one example. They don't need to be poor to be angry at the world. I mean, just take a look at history. We have Hitler, Stalin, ISIS, and on and on. Why did these people or groups grow up to possess such extremist ideologies and beliefs? The answer is, something in their past manipulated the way they think and changed the course of their lives. So don't just settle for the "they just hate the protagonist" trope. Think of what shaped them to be that way first. Next, come up with a reasonable motive. The villain isn't just evil for the sake of being evil. In fact, they probably think they're the hero of their own story. Thanos is a great example of this. Don't know who Thanos is? Where have you been? Go watch Infinity War. Basically, Thanos is a villain with a reasonable motive. He just wants to fix the world, which has an overinfestation of humans. He believes the vast growth of life will destroy the universe, just as it destroyed his own planet. So by wiping 50% of the universe's population, he believes he'll save the world. When you look at his point of view, it's honestly out of good intentions. In fact, it makes sense a little bit. Take Earth for example. It's overpopulated and we are sucking its resources dry. But when you think of the protagonists of Infinity War, who are basically at risk of getting wiped out along with literally half of the universe, you realize that the villain is crazy and his idea, no matter how much a good motive is behind it, is not the answer. This is a villain who is both good and bad. Strive for that in your story. They should always be the hero of their own story, but the villain of somebody else's. But wait, there's more! Allow your readers to pity or even love the villain sometimes. You could do this by showing us a caring or gentle or even weak or hurt side of them. Or you could do this through flashbacks of their backstory in childhood. Show us what they were like before they became evil, and we're more likely to feel bad for them. After all, their circumstances ruined them during a time when they were innocent. Readers love a multi-layered villain, one they could feel conflicted about and both hate and root for at the same time, like Thanos. Also, let the villain be powerful. They shouldn't be easily defeated, or else they're not a true villain. Let them win along the way, even if in just small battles. The protagonist should grow to fear them. You could also show how strong or how far a villain can go by letting them hurt things or cause havoc early on. Which leads me to my next point. How does the villain treat those who are closest to them? Are they forgiving to those in their army or gang or business or sorority? Or do they just take their anger out on everybody equally? If the protagonist sees the villain hurt even those who are on their side, the protagonist knows the villain won't be lenient no matter what. But if the protagonist or reader sees the villain coddle a crying child, we are slightly less afraid of them and wonder if there's hope. So your villain can be either one of those types of villains, but make sure it plays into their story, motive, and backstory. And last but not least, ditch the villain monologue when they come face to face with the protagonist in the final battle, and instead write a compelling action scene with some dialogue. A monologue isn't exciting or realistic. I mean, a serial killer isn't just going to stop their killing just to explain their motive. A warlord isn't going to stop a war just to tell their enemies that they're going to die. If the villain faces the protagonist in the climax of the story, their reaction should be to hurt the protagonist. If they happen to pass on some powerful words here and there, that's fine, but ditch the monologue. So that's how you write a villain that readers love to hate and hate to love. Let me know in the comments, who is your favorite fictional villain that you love to hate? Also, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. This month's newsletter has a freebie, which is the character outline that helps you flesh out your characters and their backstory. This can be especially useful if you want to flesh out your villain and your protagonist. So make sure you go on my website, nourzikra.com, and scroll down halfway through the page and then hit the subscribe button. Just do it, you'll get the freebie, and who doesn't love free things? They're so much better than paid for things. There you have it, how to write a villain that readers love to hate. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, check out my others, and subscribe to support my channel. And remember, Nour for president!